like the same things. It is also clear that humans do not like choices being made for them, as this reminds them of how baby humans are treated. So when caring for humans, it is wise to give them many choices.
Oxford. More than healthcare. Human care.
When officials in Washington talk about the nation's health crisis and the number of people not covered by health insurance plans, those remarks fall on very receptive ears here in Puerto Rico. Consider these facts. Half the people here are too poor to pay for health care. The infant mortality rate is one of the highest among industrialized nations, and the AIDS rate here is higher than in all 50 states. But Puerto Rico does have a public health resource, and that is former U.S. Surgeon General Antonia Novello. She was the first woman and the first Puerto Rican to ever hold that office, and she has not forgotten her roots.
You're basically looking at the University of Puerto Rico School of Medicine, the one that I went to when I was growing up. First class started in 1950, and there were so few that they used to be boarding in the top parts of this building. But this was a place of memory, place of chat, place of affections, love. All kinds of marriages came out of this school. But the important thing is that the island, the beauty, the knowledge, the professorship made it to a point in where when you graduated from this university, you were a UPR graduate and you were big stuff. Today, we graduate about 125 students, and the beauty is that about 50% are women and 50% are men. The University of Puerto Rico, just like any other university in the United States, has board certification and board approval, so we are not foreign graduates. We are American graduates that happen to graduate from the University of Puerto Rico. Enséñame aquí. ¿Dónde? Enséñame. La pipa. En la pipa. ¿Y aquí? ¿Y cuándo te empezó a doler? Ayer. ¿Y quién es esta? Mami.
She's a role model for us, not only for women, because she was the first Puerto Rican to be a Surgeon General.
Are you learning a lot about preventive medicine?
Yes.
Yeah,
How about public health?
going very good, I guess.
Because, you know, when we were growing up, we all wanted to be neurosurgeons.
Oh, yeah.
And now all of a sudden, family practice. I think family practice is a wonderful thing because they can send you to the end of the world and you can see the whole family. This is the town, the square, the church, the people, playing domino. This is so Puerto Rican. This is a man's sport and they play it like movie stars. Callado. Everything around this corner, that's where people just live, mix, talk, interchange, do everything. It's really a good place to remember your roots. It might not be what everybody loves to remember as beautiful, but God, it is my town and I love it. And the center core of the whole issue is my mother. You can be Surgeon General, you can be anything. In this town, I am Miss Flores' daughter.
Now, during this time, the mother gave the opportunity to her kids or to go anywhere, but in that time, no. But for me, it was more important her career than my love for her.
I remember when I was growing up that there was a governor of Puerto Rico who always thought not of 1960 or 1970, year 2000, year 2010. And I always kept that in my mind, never dreaming that when I was the Surgeon General, I was going to be able to talk to this man, touch this man. Puerto Ricans have an advantage. We had role models, and they, every day, because they are still alive, push you to excel. And for that, God bless the child who has a role model. That's a good one, guys.
Thank you very much.
You too, guys. So which one of you is going to be a Surgeon General?
Me.
Which one of you is going to be governor?
Me.
Which one of you is not going to smoke? Perfect.
And today, Dr. Noviello is a special representative for UNICEF, still helping people. We'll be back.
May I have a word with you? It's about my cat box. It stinks.
That's because most litters merely mask odors and ignore the germs that cause them.
So, What's your point?
Only Kitty Litter Max attacks germs to stop odors before they start.
I'll be the judge of that. Ah, that I can live with.
Kitty Litter Max.
It's murder on odor.
At 5 a.m., all the Millers can think about is that first get-you-going cup of coffee. That eye-opening, fill-the-kitchen aroma of Folgers crystals. It all begins with mountain-grown beans, fresh brewed, then crystallized. For a deep, dark, rich coffee just waiting to become your welcome to the day. There's no other coffee that kicks off the Miller's morning like Folgers crystals.
The best part of waking up is Folgers in your cup.
Introducing the new Shell MasterCard from Chemical Bank. With this MasterCard, when you buy something you want, you earn something you need, free Shell gasoline. With the new Shell MasterCard from Chemical Bank, average drivers could save 10% of their yearly gasoline costs. Use the card just 6 times a year and there's no annual fee. To apply for the Shell MasterCard from Chemical Bank, call 1-800-FREE-GAS.
To see his kids,
I need to be with my children.
Daniel Hillard was ready for anything.
Hello!
Now, ready or not,
One drop or two. Would you like another one? Oh, there you go.
here comes Mrs. Doubtfire.
Oh, sir, the terrorists, they ran that way. It was a run by fruiting.
Robin Williams is Mrs. Doubtfire. A father's work is never done.
Mrs. Doubtfire. You're hurrying to the men's room.
Rated PG-13. Special sneak preview tomorrow night. Check newspapers.
This is a Channel 7 Eyewitness News Brief.
Good morning. It's 7:25 on this Friday, November 19th. I'm Art McFarland, and here's what's happening. Friends and family will bid the late Robert Wagner Jr. a final farewell today at St. Patrick's Cathedral. Wagner was a former deputy mayor and president of the school board. He died Monday in his hotel room while he was on a business trip to San Antonio. Wagner had suffered from heart disease, and medical authorities in Texas say he may have died of a heart attack. Ed Rollins is scheduled to give sworn testimony in Washington today to Democratic Party lawyers seeking to overturn the election of Christine Todd Whitman. Yesterday, Whitman's embattled campaign manager appeared before a grand jury in Newark. Behind closed doors, he testified on his now infamous statement that the Whitman campaign paid $500,000 to suppress the urban vote. And in Patterson, New Jersey this morning, 19-year-old James Wanger will be sentenced in the murder of Robert Solomine. Last month, the jury found Wanger guilty of garroting Solomine in 1992 as they sat in his car reciting prayers. Wanger was tried as an adult and faces a maximum sentence of life with no chance of parole for 30 years. We'll be back with a look at traffic, sports, and the AccuWeather forecast after this timeout.
We're here at IKEA today because we just moved.
Yeah, to a much bigger place,
Yes.
and we need a lot of things.
We just moved here from Cleveland.
We can get the rugs, we can get the sofas, we can get the dining table.
My mom wants me to go across the street and introduce myself.
Looking at all the rooms, we get fabulous decorating ideas.
Hi, I'm Zach, the new dork across the street. Do you have any kids my age?
It's really a home decorating center, besides being a furniture store.
Well, Zach, he adjusted pretty well to the move,
Yes,
I think.
he's very comfortable with it.
How you doing there, Zach?
She came to a new world, to a husband she had never met, and discovered a passion that would change her life forever. The critics are calling The Piano one of the most enchanting love stories ever filmed, a triumph. Winner, Best Picture, Cannes Film Festival. Holly Hunter, Harvey Keitel, Sam Neill, The Piano, the movie event of the year, rated R. Now playing at select theaters near you.
Of these leading breakfast sausages, only one is 100% natural. Jones All-Natural Sausage, made with only choice cuts of pork and natural seasonings, and without preservatives or artificial ingredients, for a flavor that stands alone. Because we prefer to get our great taste the way it comes, naturally. Jones All-Natural Sausage. All we add is taste.
Time now to check the Friday morning traffic, and Joe Nolan is live at Metro Traffic Control. Joe.
Okay, Art, and again, we're looking at some delays, as we said before, inbound Lincoln, Holland, George, all three of them now up to about a 20-minute delay as you come down the West Side Highway. There was a tie-up right at the bottom there at 56th Street. That should just about be taken care of by now. Coming down across the Tappan Zee Bridge, tire changer, center lane, or make that right lane on the Rockland side of the bridge, so that's going to back you up through Interchange 11 at least. And construction, Jersey Turnpike northbound between 9 and 10 on the outer roadway, left and center out, and alternate sides in effect. For Eyewitness News, I'm Joe Nolan.
In sports, college basketball, St. John's was upset by Towson State at home, 66-65. The team came from Maryland to play, and Ralph Blaylock at the end of the break here gets the benefit of the call that could have gone the other way. So it comes down to this. Redmond down one. James Scott will miss a jumper. His teammates too late in gaining control, and Towson State holds on, putting an end to St. John's 23-game win streak at Alumni Hall. In hockey, the Devils won in Ottawa 5-2. The Islanders beat Montreal in Hamilton, Ontario. Cloudy morning and light rain and drizzle going on. Here's the AccuWeather forecast. Currently in Midtown, 51 degrees. Humidity 61%. Mostly cloudy today. Rain and drizzle are likely to continue, and the high near 55. Precipitation continues also tonight, the low around 44. Mostly sunny then tomorrow, the high 51. And the 5-day outlook calls for sunny, brisk, and chilly conditions Sunday. Mostly sunny and seasonable Monday. Partly sunny and pleasant for Tuesday. Mix of clouds and sun Wednesday with a chance of a shower. Good Morning America continues in a moment.
Joel Siegel and Arlo Guthrie take you back to Alice's restaurant. Watch Joel Siegel's Snapshots of the 60s. Today on Eyewitness News at 5.
So you're saying that smoking herb will affect my memory? That's whack. Because I've been getting high since...
Hola, I am Maga Rosselló, First Lady of Puerto Rico. Buenos días, América.
Buenos dias, America. I'm Joan London.
And I'm Charles Gibson. Good to have you with us on this Friday, November 19th. I suspect you remember where you were 500 years ago today. Certainly Christopher Columbus remembers, because he was landing here at Puerto Rico, and we're here to help celebrate the quincentennial.
Absolute. Nice hello there from the First Lady. The First Lady is going to be our official guide through her historic home. I am told it is the oldest continuously occupied official residence in the Western Hemisphere. And Puerto Rico is right now promoting the historic sites to help boost tourism here, and our money editor Tyler Matheson will be along to talk about how this tiny island is trying to make tourism into a major cash crop.
Also in this half hour, a look at the legacy of Roberto Clemente, one of the greatest to ever play the game of baseball, proud son of Puerto Rico, died, as you certainly remember, on a mercy mission to Nicaragua, and his memory is kept alive in many ways here, and we'll show you some of those. Also, our science editor, Michael Gillen, is going to take a night dip into a nearby bay, and wait till you see what happens. Spencer's about an hour from here, glowing in the dark himself. Spencer?
Charlie, as you can tell by the wind in my sails, I'm high atop the lighthouse El Faro right now. Behind me, the lagoon and the mangrove forest I mentioned earlier. We're going to tell you more about the importance of this mangrove forest, and we'll have the latest weather for you in just a minute. Charlie?
Thanks, Spencer. Right now, back to New York, the news, and Morton Dean. Morton?
Thank you, Charlie, and good morning again, everyone. A goodwill gesture for better U.S. relations and more trade with China. Senior administration officials say the White House is permitting the Chinese to buy an American supercomputer. Until now, concerns about human rights and China's weapons sales around the world have held up the sale of U.S. technology to China. Today, President Clinton is meeting with China's president and some other world leaders at a trade meeting in Seattle. In his morning economic report, ABC's Stephen Ogg examines why the APEC summit is such a big deal for the U.S.
Good morning. If you want to know why the United States is so interested in this weekend's Asia-Pacific Economic Cooperation Group meeting, all you have to do is read this book. It's the annual listing of how other countries make it difficult for Americans to sell products and services overseas. For instance, if you run a pharmaceutical firm and you want to sell your newest miracle cure in Indonesia, you may find some Indonesian who's already copied it and has it for sale even before you get to register it. If you're an American automobile company and want to sell your new cars and trucks in Taiwan, you may have to pay import taxes of 60 to 100%. If you want to open a retail store in Korea, you can't because you're a foreigner. Nor can a foreigner offer legal services, accounting, language translation, teach languages, set up a courier service, or even be a publisher. And just try selling the Chinese a product the government doesn't want imported. You'll find yourself faced with meeting standards and specifications they never even told you about. Each of these countries sells the U.S. far more than Americans sell to them. And when President Clinton meets with them, he'll have a message.
We're in a position where, coming out of this NAFTA negotiation, this president is saying, look, the American public just doesn't have a stomach for trading with these economies if their markets are going to be closed.
Still, Asia represents America's trade future.
It's where the growth is. If one projects 20 to 30 years out, Asia will become twice as important to us as Europe.
Most of these Asian nations have built their new prosperity on exports. But there's anger in the U.S., their biggest market, over the unfair way they've done things. They know they'll have to change, and the question is, how quickly? That's a look at trade with the Pacific nations.
From picket lines to ticket lines, there's anger and confusion at airports across the country. American Airlines flight attendants walked out yesterday over wage and contract issues, and pilots have taken a vote on whether to go on a sympathy strike. The results will be made known later today. The Senate is voting on major anti-crime legislation this morning. The bill would pay for the construction of new federal prisons, provide funds for the hiring of 100,000 local police officers, and impose the death penalty for dozens of additional federal crimes. Children and toys, usually a happy mix, but sometimes a dangerous mix for the holidays. So says the Institute for Injury Reduction. The group has released its 22nd annual list of dangerous toys, and included on this year's list a Barney sleeping bag and coverlet that were shown to be flammable, and a plastic sword that's sharp enough to slice an apple. A couple of examples why gift givers should check carefully the gifts they plan to give. And Spence, I hope you keep that in mind as you shop for a souvenir for me from Puerto Rico.
Mort, I'll probably bring you something back. You can count on it. You know, up atop El Faro, the lighthouse here, you can see the mangrove forest surrounding the lagoon. This forest is a very important part of the ecosystem here. It supports more than 40 species of fish, countless species of birds, serves as a protection against natural disaster for the island, and as a natural water filtration system. An amazing part of Las Cabezas de San Juan, the natural reserve here. Let's go to the weather, take a look at what's happening around the states today. A calm day for much of the nation, although a couple of spots of disturbed weather. We will have some showers, light and scattered, reaching from New England down through the Ohio Valley to the mid-Mississippi Valley. Windy in the nation's midsection, and it's going to start to become a little stormy on the west coast over the weekend. Today, a calm day on the west coast, but the Santa Ana winds are whipping up just a bit. That's a look at the national weather picture, and here's a look at the weather where you are.
Good morning, I'm meteorologist Bill Evans. On the satellite pictures, we've got clouds streaming across the area from the west ahead of a cold front that will get here today, give us rain by midday and tonight. As a matter of fact, outside we have 51 degrees with an east wind at 8. High today should be about 56. Sunshine returns for the weekend.
Part of the great view from atop the lighthouse here, way off in the distance there, El Conquistador Hotel. Puerto Rico's newest and most modern resort. I stayed there myself last night. When we come back, we'll tell you how Puerto Rico plans to use attractions like this to conquer the tourist market. As Good Morning America continues.
To build a Mercedes-Benz that's technologically innovative, safe, roomy, with exceptional handling is to be expected. But to do it for under $30,000, now that's a feat of engineering. Introducing the Mercedes-Benz C-Class.
Tell me about her.
She's one of a kind.
One of a kind.
Get it!
And does she have a favorite color?
As a matter of fact, she does. She does.
She does.
Get it!
What does she do?
Teacher.
Writer.
She's a photographer.
We get it. Get it.
Hey, you're a real pro.
Yeah, that looks like him.
Captures her.
It's perfect. Perfect.
Perfect. We get it!
David, they're beautiful.
We get it right! It's simple. You can buy flowers anywhere, or you can deal with an FTD professional.
I don't think there's any family who wants to have to go to somebody else to feed their children. Hunger exists in every community. Hunger really cuts across every segment of society. We know what the answer is, and the answer is to feed people. It's going to take a lot to solve employer in this country. We're grateful for American Express card member support in helping to provide a meal every time they use the card.
You can help. Use the American Express card to join the Charge Against Hunger till December 31st.
Make yourself comfortable at the JCPenney Dockers Week sale. Loosen up. Relax. Put your feet up. Because right now, all Dockers pants and shirts are at laid-back prices. Casual flannels, kick-back canvas. Even pullovers you'll feel at home in. So let yourself go to the JCPenney Dockers Week sale. And take it easy.
It is now 38 minutes after the hour, and we're being blessed with a little bit more of that liquid sunshine, as they call it, down here in Puerto Rico. Going to talk baseball, Puerto Rican baseball. Baseball is not just a passion here. It is, well, it is a passion, I guess. You really have to say that. Not a pastime, but a passion. There's one man who turned that passion into a purpose, the greatest Puerto Rican to ever play baseball, Roberto Clemente. And Denise Richardson reports this morning that that passion and his purpose are being kept alive in many ways.
He was one of the great players of our time, of anyone's time, really. It's a cliche, but there was nothing Roberto Clemente could not do on a baseball field. A marriage of speed and power, of dignity and elegance that graces the sport once or twice in a generation. To Latin Americans, he was a pioneer, their Jackie Robinson, the first Latin superstar. To Americans, he was an enigma, a magnificent but brooding athlete. But to everyone, he was a humanitarian. On December 31st, 1972, Roberto Clemente boarded a plane to aid victims of Nicaragua's earthquake. The plane crashed into the sea, killing all aboard. Roberto Clemente was 38. One of the tragedies when people die young is they never see their legacy. This is Roberto Clemente's Ciudad Deportiva, the sports city that was his dream. It is his posthumous gift to the city where he grew up, Carolina, dedicated to those who grow up there today.
I believe that Ciudad Deportiva, it's just there because he wanted it to be there, and the people that believed in Roberto Clemente, we wanted to keep it alive.
One of those who kept it alive was Clemente's wife, Vera. Roberto and Vera were married in 1964, the king and queen of Carolina. To Vera, the sports complex is an extension of the love Roberto felt for those in need.
He was a special person. He was always worried about others. He didn't care if the governor was waiting for him and he was on his way to this meeting. If he saw someone in a problem, he stopped to help that person. Doesn't matter if the governor was waiting for him.
While the vast sports city includes many activities, baseball is king. Here boys dream of becoming the next Roberto Clemente. Making it in the major leagues is tough enough, but these kids are going to have to learn more than how to hit a big league curveball. Many of them are concerned about discrimination, especially when it comes to cultural barriers such as language. Sports City is developing a program to teach young prospects how to survive in the United States, where Latin Americans are a minority.
We want to teach them that discrimination exists, and they have to know how to handle it, how to live in other environment that is not Puerto Rico.
Being successful in the big leagues is becoming a Sports City tradition. Major leaguers Ivan Rodriguez, Benito Santiago, Carlos Baerga, and Ruben Sierra all played here. Sierra remembers the days when he was young enough to idolize major leaguers.
I come here, when I was a young kid, I come here about 4 days a week. So I've been, I was practicing a lot, and I was ready all the time.
Victor Xavier Llanos hopes to become another Sierra, but he says the most important thing that Sports City does is keep kids out of trouble.
This kid needs this place. You close this place, the kid's gonna be in the streets.
I don't think Roberto Clemente's dream is realized completely, but I know that they're making big efforts, extraordinary efforts, for Ciudad Deportiva to be what Roberto Clemente wanted it to be.
It was a treat if you ever had a chance to see him play. It's, what time is it now? It's 42 minutes after the hour, somewhere around there. When we come back, Puerto Rico's push for the tourist dollars when Good Morning America continues here on ABC.
This is great. This is great. I'm glad to be here. And, you know, before we go any further, I want to let you all know just how flattered I am to be part of this.
It's a wonderful product, and I think the image of Lincoln Mercury and what it stands for is one of just tremendous integrity. And if it weren't for that, you know I wouldn't be here. I'm ready to play. I'm in. Let's go. Let's get after it.
Coming home, coming back to the things that comfort you when nothing else will do. Stovers, nothing comes closer to home.
Home-style beef pot roast with oven-browned potatoes. Fried chicken breast with real whipped potatoes. All your favorite home-cooked meals.
Stovers, nothing comes closer to home.
This season, give the gift your whole family will enjoy. The story of a remarkable friendship.
I love you, Willie.
Free Willy, one of the most heartwarming films of the year.
Let's free Willie.
Now on video at a price you can afford.
Go, Willie!
And save up to $11 with rebates and coupons from Bumblebee Tuna, Payless Shoe Stores, and Kid Cuisine. Bring something special home for the holidays. Free Willy, for sale wherever videos are sold. If you've been thinking about playing the market this year, you'll want to take advantage of the stock sale now at your Jeep and Eagle dealer, where you can save up to $1,500 on Jeep Grand Cherokee Laredo V8. Or invest in a sophisticated Eagle Vision. Get a great return on Jeep Cherokee Sport with air at no charge. Or close on a legendary Jeep Wrangler. But don't delay. With deals like these, there's sure to be a run on our stock.
Now held over at your Tri-State Jeep and Eagle dealer.
Hi, I'm Dana King.
And I'm Bill Ritter.
And we're in Puerto Rico. So join us as we learn about the history of rum and the origins of salsa music, and we go marlin fishing.
That's this Sunday. It's Good Morning America Sunday. Go to Puerto Rico.
You might expect tourism to really be the engine that runs the Caribbean islands economy. However, here in Puerto Rico, it's really kind of taken a back seat to business and manufacturing. However, as our money editor and Money Magazine's executive editor, Tyler Matheson, reports, the new government here in Puerto Rico is really determined to turn the tourist business into big business.
It's another perfect November day in paradise. The sun is shining, the water is warm and clear, and you've got a busy day ahead, sightseeing, exploring, or just flopping down on a pristine beach with a good book and a tall drink. That's the fantasy more and more vacationers are living out every day in Puerto Rico.
All remaining passengers may board at this time.
People are literally lining up to visit Puerto Rico this year. So far in 1993, hotel registrations on the island topped 750,000, up more than 12% over last year. But it's more than warm tropical breezes and cool pina coladas that are attracting visitors to Puerto Rico. The island's government is giving tourism a hard sell.
Come and discover the continent of Puerto Rico.
Puerto Rico has beautiful beaches and excellent weather all year round. But we have so much more to offer. We have so many vacation experiences in Puerto Rico, even though we're an island, that we felt the way to portray that to our visitors and potential visitors was to tell them that only a continent can offer so many vacation experiences.
And now it boasts a truly world-class mega resort, the nearly completed $250 million El Conquistador. Sales and Marketing Vice President Brian Gamache says the 1,000-room resort would have been impossible without an aggressively pro-tourism Puerto Rican government.
They have been very, very helpful from a financing standpoint. They're our partners in the financial end. They helped us with the real estate, and they have offered us significant tax abatements to help the project get off the ground successfully and to make sure it really works.
The El Conquistador really highlights the importance that the Puerto Rican government has given to tourism.
Puerto Rico Tourism Chief Luis Fortuño manages an advertising and promotional budget that has risen in the past year from $11 to $17 million, hoping to double the island's tourism business within a decade. A key part of his message, while Puerto Rico is an exotic island, it still has all the comforts of home.
The fact that we're part of the United States allows us to have the best air connections in the region. So you have direct flights from almost every major city in the United States. But in addition to that, if you're a U.S. visitor, you don't need a passport. We use the same currency. We speak the language. So you feel right at home at the same time that you're visiting an exotic and Latin destination.
As part of America, you get American-style problems like heavy traffic and high crime rates in some urban areas.
There's no real tradition of tourist crime in Puerto Rico. There's no real reason to expect it.
Aaron Sugarman is deputy editor of Condé Nast Traveler magazine.
I think you develop a certain attitude that says there are dangers in the world today. We must take certain precautions. We must not be utterly careless. We must keep our wits about us even though we're on vacation. It's unfortunate but true. But after that, I don't think there's any exceptional precautions that you need to take.
So if you're heading to Puerto Rico this year, put your cares aside, enjoy yourself, and hit the beach.
All right, Tyler, there is a potential problem, though, for the growth of Puerto Rico's tourism, and that's Cuba. They've been making international investments in their tourist facilities. It, too, is a beautiful island, and there are some political changes seemingly in the future, which could make them a formidable rival for the American tourist dollar here in the Caribbean. When we come back, we'll take a look at water that glows right here in Puerto Rico.
Introducing Campbell's Cream of Chicken and Broccoli Soup. The great-tasting new soup that makes great recipes that practically make themselves. New Campbell's Cream of Chicken and Broccoli Soup. Campbell's.
Of all the credit cards out there, only one has Smart Rate, now as low as 14.9% and no annual fee. Discover Card. It's a better deal. It pays to discover. This holiday season, while you're shopping, we'll be dropping $5 million in the Discover Card Big Payback. Now, every time you use your card, you're automatically entered in our $5 million sweepstakes. It pays to discover the card with the big payback.
Hi, I'm Regis Philbin. You know, I've been suffering with back pain for years. Then I discovered Aspirin. I just rub in Aspirin for hours of relief, right where I hurt. It relieves the pain fast, and it's odor-free. And Aspirin is aspirin-free.
The 94 Buicks have only been out for about a month now, Jill.
Yes, and already the Buick dealers are expecting a shortage of some models.
Like the new specially priced Regal, Jill.
It's no wonder, Jim. The 94 Buicks are designed with more of today's consumers' needs in mind than ever.
An airbag, anti-lock brakes, and environmentally friendly air conditioning systems are standard in every 94 Buick.
Over 250 improvements this year, including more powerful, more fuel-efficient engines. And this year's Regal shows Buick's commitment to provide more real value, too. The two-door is priced from just $17,890, and sedan is just $18,995. Both with a value pack list of features.
Both with attractive lease payments. And don't forget about the Century, Jill.
Yep, just $14,995. Value packed with a long list of features.
That's one heck of a family sedan. The safest in America.
So visit your local Buick dealer this month and enter the Buick Dealer Drive-Away Sweepstakes. Test drive a Buick and tell us what you think in 20 words or less.
You can win the use of a Buick for a year. And you'll see why we say
one test drive will convince you Buick dealers offer real value you can afford.
Island of Puerto Rico, water and light come together in spectacular ways. The sun's rays bounce off the surf back onto the beach. The moon illuminates a hidden cove. But our science editor, Michael Gillen, found a place where the water literally presents a light show. And don't think there's anything wrong with your TV sets. We had to use a special camera in order to capture these images. Watch.
Despite its name, Mosquito Bay is a great place for fishing, swimming, or just looking around. By day, it's beautiful. But as the sun goes down, Mosquito Bay becomes magical, as I was about to discover. How far are you actually going to be taking us out into the bay to see this?
Well, we are going to be out for about a quarter of a mile.
And do you think the conditions are pretty good tonight?
The conditions tonight are just perfect.
Juan Gonzalez is an oceanographer from the University of Puerto Rico. Armed with a special nighttime camera, we're going to see one of nature's most incredible creatures, Pyrodinium bahamensi. Under a microscope, this tiny half-plant, half-animal doesn't look like much, but in the water at night, it is nothing short of spectacular. Look at the glow. It's phenomenal. I mean, and it's like beads of light.
It is really great. Those are chemicals, reactions that are taking place inside those creatures.
So it's like the cool lights you buy at a baseball game or a football game, huh?
That's right, yeah.
Now, how come it glows only when you agitate the water like this?
Because when you do that, then is when you start the chemical reaction that makes them do that.
And how many creatures must there be in this water?
500,000 per gallon.
No, 500,000 per gallon?
Yep.
Unbelievable. Beautiful. The wake of a boat makes this special water glow like a light bulb, and fish swimming around create the impression of underwater fireworks.
Bioluminescence is common in all the oceans. However, it is less concentrated, and that's why you don't get to see it in the open ocean. Over here is a unique place, and that's why you get to see it so intensely.
Located on the southern coast of Vieques Island, Mosquito Bay has just the right temperature and salinity. Because the water is shallow, plenty of sunshine gets through to recharge the creature's batteries. And the leaves falling from the surrounding mangrove trees keep the creatures well nourished.
Welcome to one of the finest bioluminescent bays in the world. This bay supports...
Sharon Grasso uses non-polluting electric boats for her tours of Mosquito Bay. She's very protective of this place, and for good reason.
We do have another bioluminescent bay in Puerto Rico, which is dying due to contamination and overuse and overdevelopment. It would be a real shame if Puerto Rico lost a second bioluminescent bay. This is a very fragile environment which needs to be protected.
In the years ahead, Puerto Ricans face an environmental choice as clear as night and day. During the day, you can see that the shoreline here on Mosquito Bay is still very natural, and it really has to stay that way, so that by night, visitors can still enjoy this unique and magical experience.
Thanks, Michael. It's 54 after. We've got some island dancing coming up, so don't go away.
Every day should start with Quaker Oats.
Nothing cold can steam you up and help keep you rolling all morning like hot Quaker oatmeal.
Every day should feel this good.
As this is said to be the decade families will be hunting for real value, Volvo thought it best to make that search a little easier. Introducing Volvo Affordable Pricing. Available on new 1994 cars, it's Volvo's way of hitting families right where it helps.
Kevin loves peanut butter. Julie wants chicken.
If you're saving those cute little boxes of sun-made raisins for a special occasion, your kids are missing a real fruit treat in those lunches you pack every morning. Rise and shine with sun-made raisins.
When people ask me how to get started in classical music, I always recommend RCA Victor's Basic 100. Created as a perfect introduction to Bach, Beethoven, and the whole gang here, Basic 100 takes all the guesswork out of buying classical music. With critically acclaimed performances and entertaining notes, each Basic 100 title features only the most popular and enduring pieces. Take it from me, your key to the world of classics is RCA's Basic 100.
If there's one thing Texans know, it's big. So your local 5-state Honda dealer drove the new Accord all the way to the Lone Star State to get their expert opinion on our big, more usable trunk.
Now that's what I call wide open spaces.
On our big cabin.
Plenty of headroom.
On our dual airbags.
That's mighty big of them.
And on our big value.
Well, you can charge a lot more than that, son.
The new Honda Accord. Luckily, you don't have to set foot in Texas to see what the big bus is all about. Just visit your local 5-state Honda dealer today.
Good Morning America is brought to you by the Discover Card.
More from Puerto Rico coming up in our next hour.
But to close the first hour, some folk ballet, the group Ibero de Puerto Rico.
Vieron bajar a la Virgen Santa María con su coro celestial. Santa María, líbranos de todo mal y ampáranos, Señora, de este terrible animal. En un barrio de Aguadilla, como a eso de las 6, se presentaba el demonio dando salto en el batey. Santa María, líbranos de todo mal y ampáranos, Señora, de este terrible animal.
María, líbranos de todo mal y ampáranos, Señora, de este terrible animal, tenía cara de buey.
Accommodations provided by the new El Conquistador Resort and Country Club, the Caribbean's most complete destination resort. For adventure and romance, your personal vacation dream comes true at the El Conquistador.
Una vieja cogió un machete para poderlo matar. El demonio encontró.
An elusive megastar. She guards her privacy and rarely talks. Barbara Streisand, my intimate and exclusive interview with this great performer. You think you're good looking?
At times, I think I am.
Sexy? Watch 2020 tonight.
I thought he was Mr. Right.
Turned into Mr. Hyde.
Saturday on the commish.
You have real talent for making a fool out of me.
Tony's sidekick is the victim of a stalker.
He's not going to stop.
Yes, he will.
Saturday, it's the commish.
Hey, we're going to Chicago on the next line.
And we'll announce the grand prize winner in our Sears-style bonus trivia contest. Today at 9.
Right here on Channel 7.
Nothing you can say can tear me away from my God.
How's this? The 94 Cutlass Supreme Special Edition for $16,995. Or you can smart lease it for $275 a month for 36 months. It comes with a driver's side airbag, anti-lock brakes, power windows and locks, AM/FM cassette, and more. For the best deals, see your good olds guy now.
Higgins. Eliza. The perfect Broadway musical. Lerner and Lowe's My Fair Lady. He turned a flower girl into a princess, and she in turn created a prince. Richard Chamberlain in My Fair Lady. Previews begin November 26th at the Virginia Theater. Call telecharge 239-6200.
A rare glimpse of Barbara Streisand at noon.
Good morning, everyone. I'm Charles Gibson.
And I'm Joan London. Buenos dias, Americas. It is Friday, November the 19th, and we are at the Centro de Bellas Artes. That is the Center of Fine Arts here in San Juan, Puerto Rico. And we are here for the 500th anniversary of the landing of Christopher Columbus on these Puerto Rican shores on his second trip to the New World, 1493. And the arts that are reflected and performed here in the center are really the jewels of Puerto Rico.
One of the jewels of this area is the governor's mansion, and I suppose it's not surprising because this area dates back 100 years before the Pilgrims landed on Plymouth Rock in Massachusetts. So the governor's mansion here is the oldest continuously occupied mansion in our hemisphere. And the First Lady of Puerto Rico in this, in our 8:30 half hour is going to give you a tour of the mansion. I'm not sure which half hour it's in, but I think it's, I'm sorry, it's in this half hour, the 8 o'clock half hour. I'll get this straight in a few moments. Also coming up this morning, Puerto Rico's controversial school voucher system. There is a voucher system down here. The proponents of the system say it does a lot to increase competition in the public schools, but opponents say it does not, and we're going to hear both sides coming up a little later. Right now we go to Spencer. Spencer is a beacon of light, has the best view in the place this morning. Spencer?
Right you are, Charlie, back at Las Cabezas de San Juan, literally meaning the heads of San Juan. And right behind me, that mass of land is one of the head-like promontories extending from the mainland out into the Atlantic that result in the name Las Cabezas de San Juan. I'll tell you more about the lighthouse, El Faro, atop which I am standing in just a few minutes, and I'll have the latest weather. Joan?
All right, thank you very much, Spencer. Right now we'll go back to New York for the news and Morton Dean. Good morning, Mort.
Good morning, Joan. Good morning, everyone. A free exchange on free trade. President Clinton meets in Seattle today with world leaders involved in Asian-Pacific trade. Fresh from his NAFTA win, the president is trying to get Asian countries to open their doors to more American products, and that, says the president, would mean more American jobs.
Make no mistake about it, ultimately this meeting is about the jobs, the incomes, and the futures of the American people.
To that end, the U.S. is trying to smooth the way for more trade with China. U.S. officials say they will permit the sale of an $8 million supercomputer to China. Until now, sales of U.S. technology there have been blocked by concerns about human rights and China's weapons sales around the world. The computer sale is bound to come up during today's meeting between President Clinton and China's president. ABC's Deborah Wong has a preview.
It has been non-stop shuttle diplomacy in recent weeks, with U.S. officials in Beijing and Chinese officials now in the U.S., laying the groundwork for the upcoming meeting. On the agenda, demands for China to improve its human rights record, to stop the sale of missiles to the Third World, and to even out the growing trade gap between the two countries. This will be the first meeting between heads of the two states since China crushed pro-democracy protests in June of 1989. Analysts say it represents a new willingness by the U.S. to end China's diplomatic isolation.
The Clinton administration is going to start trying to engage China, to deal with them effectively across a wide array of issues in order to try to move that country along and build a relationship that serves both of our interests.
China says it will consider opening its prisons to the Red Cross in response to a U.S. demand. But on the eve of his departure, President Jiang Zemin lashed out at the U.S. for its fixation on human rights. Some Americans who criticize China on human rights fix their eyes on a small number of lawbreakers, he said. To mix the two up is inappropriate. The two sides are under pressure to arrive at some sort of understanding. Unless China makes significant progress on the human rights front by next June, the Clinton administration may be forced to restrict China's most favored nation trade status, a prospect which neither side wants. Deborah Wong, ABC News, Beijing.
Another day of headaches at American Airlines passenger terminals. It's day 2 of the strike. Flight attendants on strike. Hundreds of yesterday's American flights were canceled, leaving passengers with lots of headaches.
My flight left, my luggage left, and they left me here because there were no flight attendants. All the airlines have been booked up with people rescheduling flights, so I have no idea when I'm going to get home.
I volunteered even for to be, a flight attendant. Told them I'd be able to, a CPR, okay, I don't know anything else, but I'll be able to hand out pillows and blankets, no problem. Let's just get moving.
The flight attendants say they plan to stay out through the very busy Thanksgiving weekend. The union says the workers are asking for what they feel is rightfully theirs.
We're just asking them to give us what we deserve. They don't want to give up any of that money. So we realize that this is the busiest travel holiday period. We realize that they stand to make an enormous amount of money from this travel period. So we have to hit them where it's going to hurt the most.
American could be shut down completely by tomorrow. Pilots have been voting on whether they will walk out to support the flight attendants. The result of the pilots' vote is expected sometime today. In Washington, the Senate votes today on a big anti-crime package. The legislation is expected to be approved, but as ABC's Jackie Judd reports, there's some doubt the bill will live up to its billing.
We're going to have a bill that will make a tremendous dent in crime in this society.
The price tag is $22 billion. That covers 100,000 new police officers, 10 new prisons, money for boot camps for young criminals, and new drug programs for prison inmates. The bill bans many assault weapons as well as handgun sales to minors. But even supporters of the measure acknowledge there is a good deal in the bill that will do little, if anything, to reduce crime.
We are on the verge of doing a great deal, but we still need to be very careful about what we are promising the American people that this will do.
For example, the Senate toughened federal prison sentences for a variety of crimes, ranging from carjackings to drive-by shootings, and it extended the death penalty to 51 crimes. The catch is most violent crimes are tried in state courts, where federal penalties don't apply. Senator Biden called the tougher sentences worthless and excessive.
There is a mood here that if someone came to the floor and said, we should barb wire the ankles of anyone who jaywalks, I suspect it would pass.
The Senate obviously is reacting to the public's demand for something to be done about violence. The result, critics and supporters alike say, is a bill that is not only about crime fighting, but about political grandstanding. Jackie Judd, ABC News, Capitol Hill.
Here's a look at some of the events making news in the day and weekend ahead. In Los Angeles today, the prosecution begins presenting rebuttal witnesses in the murder trial of Eric and Lyle Menendez. Michael Jackson's family is expected to announce whether he'll join them in a reunion concert on December 11th in Atlantic City. And Sunday, South Africa's parliament votes on a constitution which gives equal rights to all races. And tonight on 2020, Barbara Walters' exclusive interview with Barbara Streisand. They discuss Streisand's first public concerts in 27 years coming up in Las Vegas.
They're paying you $20 million.
Well, that's rumor. I'm not going to tell you because I don't believe in discussing.
But it's a huge amount. The highest amount that's ever been paid for such a performance. Does that matter?
Well, it's very flattering. It was like, wow, you would pay me that? Like, even my mother said, why do they pay you so much to sing?
That's everybody's mother. You?
She said, why do they pay you so much? I guess they like me, Mom, or they want me.
The complete interview tonight on 2020 at 10 Eastern Time. Charlie, you should have taken those singing lessons.
Thanks very much, Mort. It's now 8 minutes after the hour, and we're going to go back to Spencer Christian for the national weather forecast, but he also has a terrific story about the human spirit and resilience. Spencer?
Right, Charlie. We'll get to that story in just a moment after the weather. I'm atop El Faro, the historic lighthouse again, built in 1880. It's actually owned and operated now by the U.S. Coast Guard, but leased by the Conservation Trust of Puerto Rico, which has restored the lighthouse and opened it to tourists. Right now, let me open up the weather maps to our viewing audience and show you what's going on around the country today. A calm day for much of the nation. Sunny skies in many places, although getting windy in the upper Midwest with gusts to 45 miles per hour today, 40 miles per hour or above. There'll be light scattered showers from New England down through the Ohio Valley to the mid-Mississippi Valley, and those Santa Ana winds are whipping up again in the southwest. High temperatures today, turning cooler in the upper Midwest. North central states will see highs only in the 20s and 30s, 40s and 50s, though, generally over the northern half of the country. Warmer near both coasts and certainly milder in the extreme southeast, where highs will get up into the 70s, some 80s over Florida. That's a look at the national weather picture. Here's a look at the weather where you are.
Good morning, I'm meteorologist Bill Evans. Well, we have cloudy skies, damp conditions this morning, and a lot of clouds. Satellite pictures show just that. We've got an east wind fetching in clouds off the Atlantic. That's helping push in moisture. And then there's the cold front coming from the west. That'll make things cloudy, damp, and rainy this afternoon. Outside now 50 degrees. Northeast wind at 12. We've got light drizzle in the city and along the coastal sections. High today about 56. That's going to be mild. 3 degrees above normal for this time of the year, with maybe some breaks of sun. But rain this afternoon and tonight, then sunny and much cooler for the weekend.
It is really hard to believe that this stunning island, which is truly a tropical paradise, was recently dealt a devastating blow by Mother Nature, but I've discovered that even the overwhelming forces of nature can't keep Puerto Rico down for the count. On September 17, 1989, the gale forces of Hurricane Hugo slammed into the Puerto Rican coastline, ripping off rooftops with 150-mile-per-hour winds. And when it was over, 25,000 families had lost part, if not all, of their homes, and industrial damage was estimated to be $150 million.
In terms of housing, in terms of agriculture, I can tell you that everything at this moment is restored in Puerto Rico, everything.
While work continues on a few municipal buildings, areas once decimated, such as the tiny nearby islands of Vieques and Culebra, El Yunque, Puerto Rico's rainforest, and the exclusive Isla Verde section of San Juan, have bounced back stronger than ever.
We are ready prepared for not only for the people like me that live here in Puerto Rico, but also the people that we want to visit the island.
I certainly can't speak for the victims of the hurricane, but certainly from a visitor's point of view, there's no visible evidence that the island is still suffering from that hurricane. It's a beautiful place to visit. Joan?
All right, thank you very much, Spencer. It's 11 minutes after. Puerto Rico is trying a new idea in education. It's something that's been hotly debated back in the United States. It's called school choice, vouchers from the government that parents can then use to send their children to the school of their choice, be that school public or private. Now, supporters say that it will create competition and thus improve schools. However, Puerto Rican teachers are opposed to it. And to discuss this issue, we have two guests with us this morning. With us is Puerto Rico's Secretary of Education, Jose Arsenio Torres. Also with us is Nancy Velasquez, a teacher, also a board member of the Teachers Association, that's a teachers union. Secretary Torres, you well know that this is a controversial issue, of course. Our state of California just recently voted it down, I think about a 2-to-1 margin. How is it working here in Puerto Rico, and how do you think it will improve schools?
This program was established by law, Law 71 of 93. It operates in 4 dimensions. It is a transfer, a possible transfer from a public school to a private school, from a private school into a public schools, among public schools, and advanced university training that accredits the courses at the high school level and also as university work. All in all, it has now 5,300 students in all the 4 varieties of programs.
That have been doing the transfers?
Yes, most of the transfers have occurred among public schools, and we got more transfers from private into public schools than from public schools into private.
Well, Nancy, why are there have been 2, if I'm correct, 2 separate teacher strikes, right, down here?
That's correct.
Why are you opposed to it?
We oppose it because we believe that vouchers do not lead to school improvement. It is unconstitutional according to our Constitution, Article 2, Section 5, when it regarding funds to private institutions. We believe that parents will not have the choice. It will be the private schools who will have the choice in admitting their students. We also believe that there is no research that proves that choosing a private school will enhance the participation of students in public school. They will not achieve academically.
So as I've read a lot of this, it's that a lot of the really good students and the active parents that go along with those good students will then leave the public schools and go off into private schools?
That could be the possibility.
What is the answer to that?
On the contrary, we have had more transfers from private schools into public schools than otherwise. Also, the public schools that receive students get a $1,500
it's a $1,500 credit, right?
Voucher to improve the schools, to improve the program, and to give a better education to those staying at the public system, so that the public system has been the beneficiary of the whole program.
Let me ask another question, because as I read somewhere, it's a $1,500. If somebody wanted to transfer the student from a public school into a private school, they'd still have to pay the difference. And therefore, you'd really only get your middle-income families who could then take advantage of it. The poor families couldn't, because they could never come up with the difference.
Most of the private schools are under $1,700 in costs.
So it wouldn't be that much of a difference.
That means that the difference can be contributed by the parents and to save the obstacle.
I know it's only been a couple of months. I mean, just to have statistics, I mean, it's a very short time, but what do you make of the fact that most of them have gone from private into public? Do you think that will that satisfy the teachers if they see that that's the way it's really going to go?
Well, the problem is that since this law was created, when they signed the law, private schools had already begun their school courses. So there was no chance of the students being admitted into private school. But next year, there probably will be a big chance of them moving into private schools.
I see what she's saying. It could turn around the other way.
Oh, it could. And it would be good, because it would mean that parents are having the opportunity to give their students the education they want. Not the one that the department wants or that the legislature wants, but the ones that the parents want. And this
but where will it leave
choice.
the teachers in the public schools?
How is that?
But how will it leave the situation in the public schools?
Well, those who transfer from one public school into a private school, or a public school into another public school, would be notifying to us the quality of that school. The one they go, the one they leave.
Well, let me turn the coin around. It'll mean that there are fewer kids there. The classes will be smaller. Maybe you'll be able to have teaching at a better quality. Could that happen?
It will not solve the problem, because then we will have these private schools with a large enrollment, and then they will be facing the problems that we are facing right now in our public schools.
Are we going to have this turnaround on us here?
Let them worry. Let them worry. They get too many students and they acquire no problems. Let them solve them. The problem is that the parents and the kids have the opportunity to go to the school of their choice. And this is absolutely good.
So in the long run, you think in the long run,
yeah. And as a principle.
Still not optimistic, Nancy?
That's correct. I do not share his same idea.
All right. Well, we thank you both very much. This is an idea, of course, that we're still debating in our country and in the mainland as well. And we'll be back.
Spellbound perfume from Estee Lauder. Now choose any Estee Lauder fragrance and receive this 33-piece collection, including an interchangeable compact disc eyeshadow case. The coloring box, worth $150, is yours for $32.50. Estee Lauder's special holiday offer is yours at Stearns.
The doors are open in 93 to the best of 94. The best of 94. It's
It's Toyota's first sales event of the new model year. Their silver anniversary option package savings on Corolla. And a Toyota Touch lease that makes it easy to get into Corolla. A benchmark of quality in America for 25 years. Take advantage of our one-price 2- or 4-door Tercel DX with option package savings. Either one price. The Best of 94 sales event makes November the best time to buy.
The genius behind very fine apple quenchers.
Good fruit drink, but needs something. Like, oh, an apple, yeah. Uh-oh. Yikes! Oh, no. Oh.
New apple quenchers from Very Fine. Great tasting fruit, thirst quenching apples. Nothing quenches like apple quenchers.
ABC's Monday Night Football. Experience it for yourself with the Panasonic Super Flat System TV. You could win a trip for two to a Monday night game in New Orleans, or win a Panasonic Super Flat System television. To appreciate it, you must experience it for yourself. To play, send a postcard with your name, address, and daytime phone number to Panasonic Super Flat TV. P.O. Box 1623, Carmel, Indiana 46032. Entries must be received by November 29th.
It is now 19 minutes after 8 o'clock. Back on the mainland, when we say something is old, we're probably talking 19th century. If it's really old, then it might date back to the 18th century. But here in Puerto Rico, first colonized by the Spaniards 5 centuries ago, old takes on a whole new meaning. Case in point, La Fortaleza, which is the oldest continuously occupied governor's mansion in the Western Hemisphere. And this morning, the First Lady of Puerto Rico, Maga Rosea, is going to give you a tour of the governor's mansion.
La Fortaleza, which means fortress, was built in the 1500s, and it was built with the purpose of protecting the island from invaders. The first thing that was built were 2 towers, one on each side, where the people could go upstairs and watch out for any invaders that would come to attack the city. This is the tea chamber. It's really a living room of last century where people used to meet their friends. I use it as a favorite place that I have to meet my friends when they come visit me here at La Fortaleza. The furniture dates back to last century, and it is made of mahogany and cane. This is the bay room. It is adjacent to 2 separate guest rooms that we have here at La Fortaleza. We've had many famous people stay here. Mrs. Kennedy stayed here. Queen Sofia also stayed here. Nowadays, we use it as a very cozy and romantic dining room because at night we can sit here and have a candlelight dinner and overlook this beautiful view of the Bay of San Juan that we have here. Legend here at La Fortaleza. In 1898, when the Americans landed in Puerto Rico, the last Spanish governor came down these steps, looked at the clock, took out his sword, and broke the clock, marking the last hour of the Spanish rule. I go from one room to another wondering what happened here, who was here before, and it's very exciting, and there's always something new you can learn. La Fortaleza was built as a fortress, and you know, a fortress could be very cold. We have many, many rooms here, and I wanted to make it a home. So what we did was that we put our photographs all over La Fortaleza. That way, it makes it a home. This is one of the original cannons that we have here at La Fortaleza. They were used to defend against attackers. With one shot, we defeated Sir Francis Drake. And this is another one of our legends here at La Fortaleza.
La Fortaleza, the governor's mansion, is over near the site from which we broadcast yesterday in Old San Juan, about a 7 square block area. that has been beautifully restored by the government of Puerto Rico at a cost, they say, of close to $1 billion. It is coming up now on 23 minutes after the hour. In our next half hour, some of the cooking of Puerto Rico and some good music to take us off the air as well. We'll be back. Stay with us.
At JCPenney, we've got your wardrobe all worked out. With Worthington, a line of businesswear and accessories that works together. That means the blouses work with more than one skirt. The skirts work with more than one blazer. And the blazers work with just about anything. It all works out to more outfits for a lot less money. And you've gotta like the way that works. Worthington, exclusively at
JCPenney, doing it right.
In the year 23,012 BC, Lenny, the traveling salesman, rented the first big round wheel from Thrifty at a nice small rate. Today, you can still get low rates now on cars with 4 wheels. Simply use your Montgomery Ward credit card at Montgomery Ward Car Rental at participating Thrifty locations. Renting wheels at low prices is nothing new to Thrifty. In fact, we invented it. Thrifty Car Rental, historically known for low rates.
Bradley, can you read me a story? Okay, but we gotta be quiet. It's a Comes to Life book. Can I do it this time? You're not old enough to read. Neither are you. Okay. Just find the circle and put the saying right on top. Now press the button.
The steps need fixing. There's loose. What are you guys doing in here?
Oh, we're reading.
They're reading.
Let's get to it.
Comes to Life storybooks. Reading never sounded so good. Wilford Brimley for Quaker Toasted Oatmeal.
You with cold cereal?
Yes, ma'am.
Quaker toasted oatmeal.
Quaker oatmeal flakes, touch of brown sugar, as good as all get out.
Well, they sure like it.
Why not? Grains of Quaker oatmeal on every oatmeal flake. That's oatmeal on top of oatmeal. Same good stuff as the hot.
So, they can do it cold.
And still do it right.
Quaker Toasted Oatmeal, original and honey nut.
It's my other oatmeal.
Mine, too.
This Channel 7 Eyewitness News Brief is brought to you by the Cadillac Tri-Statesman.
Good morning. It's 8:25 on this Friday, November 19th. I'm Art McFarland, and here is what's happening. A funeral mass will be held today at St. Patrick's Cathedral for Robert Wagner, Jr. Wagner was a former deputy mayor and president of the school board. He died Monday in his hotel room while on a business trip to San Antonio. Medical authorities in Texas say Wagner suffered from heart disease and he may have died of a heart attack. Andrew Rollins is scheduled to give sworn testimony today to Democratic Party lawyers seeking to overturn the election of Christine Todd Whitman. Yesterday, Whitman's embattled campaign manager appeared before a grand jury in Newark. Behind closed doors, he testified on his now infamous statement that the Whitman campaign paid $500,000 to suppress the urban vote. And in Paterson, New Jersey this morning, 19-year-old James Wanger will be sentenced in the murder of Robert Solomine. Last month, a jury found Wanger guilty of garroting Solomine in 1992 as they sat in his car reciting prayers. Wanger was tried as an adult and faces now a maximum sentence of life with no chance of parole for 30 years. We'll be back with a look at traffic, sports, and the AccuWeather forecast after this timeout.
When Wall Street comes alive tomorrow morning, the hunt begins again. The hunt for exceptional investment opportunities. I'll give you one from the world of automobiles, the 1994 Cadillac Seville. It's available now on lease terms that are exceptional. The monthly payments, for example, modest for a car like this, and a short lease, too. See your Cadillac Tri-Statesman. Your hunt is over.
At Sims, there's never a reason for a sale. Everything is off price every day of the year. When a brand name children's clothing manufacturer makes 5,000 garments and sells 4,000, Sims buys the rest for less than the regular wholesale, and we sell them for less than regular retail. We don't need made-up promotional sales or made-up brand names. The real brand name bargains are here all the time.
How can I show you how good this new Panasonic GOW TV is on your TV? I can try special effects to show you the lifelike picture of the super flat system. I can try to simulate the power of its active dome sound system, I can try to demonstrate picture-in-picture and icon menu. But on your TV, it's useless. So what else can I try? I don't know. You just have to see it for yourself.
The choice is obvious. The Panasonic Super Flat System TV.
And time for one more check on the Friday morning traffic. Joe Nolan live at Metro Traffic Control. Joe.
Okay, Art, and again, we are going to be looking at really not a particularly bad day coming in from Jersey, about 25, Lincoln, Holland, George, so that's pretty good. We are, though, going to be looking at some slow go coming down the West Side Highway, pretty much from the 70s and 80s right on down into 56, 57th Street, where you get off at the bottom there. There's a new construction pattern, so it's a little confusing for folks. So if you head southbound, be prepared for that. And on the northern state, as you head westbound at New Hyde Park Road, multi-vehicle accident. It's all off on the shoulder, but there's a lot of glass in the roadway. So again, as you start to come up to this, you want to stay way over to the right. Alternate sides in effect. For Eyewitness News, I'm Joe Nolan.
In sports, college basketball, St. John's was upset by Towson State at home, 66-65. The team from Maryland came to play. Ralph Blaylock at the end of the break here gets the benefit of a call that could have gone either way. So it comes down to this. Redmond down one, James Scott missing the jumper. His teammates too late in gaining control, and Towson State holds on, putting it into St. John's 23-game win streak at Alumni Hall, and that was that. In hockey, the Devils won in Ottawa 5-2. Islanders beat Montreal in Hamilton, Ontario. We have light rain and drizzle this morning, and here's the AccuWeather forecast. Currently in Midtown, 50 degrees, humidity is 77%. Mostly cloudy today. A little rain and drizzle are likely through this afternoon, the high 55, and the rain and drizzle continue tonight, the low around 44. Becoming mostly sunny tomorrow, the high near 51, and the 5-day outlook calls for sunny, brisk, and chilly conditions Sunday, mostly sunny and seasonable on Monday, partly sunny and pleasant Tuesday, then a mixture of clouds and sun on Wednesday with a slight chance of a shower. Good Morning America continues in a moment.
Hey, we're going to Chicago on the next line.
And we'll announce the grand prize winner in our Sears-style bonus trivia contest. Today at 9.
Right here on Channel 7.
Kids Day is the day when you get extra hugs. I play hide and seek on Kids Day with Daddy.
It's just a great day for kids.
Dr. Antonia Novero, the former Surgeon General. This is Puerto Rico. Buenos dias, America.
And Buenos dias, America. I'm Joan London.
And I'm Charles Gibson. Good to have you with us. Friday, November 19th, our last half hour from Puerto Rico.
Having a good time, Carlos?
My name for the day.
That, of course, Antonia Novello.
Gibson.
That's right. They're
Gibson.
very, very proud of her here in Puerto Rico because she was the first woman and the first Puerto Rican to ever hold that office of U.S. Surgeon General.
In this half hour, we're going to taste some of the native dishes of Puerto Rico. There's going to be some terrific music to take us off the air from the San Juan Children's Choir. Also, we're going to talk about this Columbus Day, the 500th anniversary of the landing of Columbus in Puerto Rico. That came on his second voyage, but there's been revisionist history, obviously, about Columbus. He is seen in a different light than he was when you and I grew up, I think.
Yeah.
And so we're going to talk to some of the school children of San Juan, who are on holiday today, about how Christopher Columbus is seen in modern-day history. Spencer, throughout the morning, has been showing you some absolutely fabulous views from the lighthouse, which is his site, about an hour east of here in the northeast corner of Puerto Rico, but he's moved inside for the moment. Spencer?
This is the view from outside the lighthouse, which is breathtaking, but I'm inside right now with a series of exhibits designed to show you just how amazingly complex the ecosystem is in this area, and I'll give you more details on that and the latest weather in just a moment. Charlie?
All right, thanks, Spencer. We're going to go right now to New York. An update on the news. Morton Dean. Morton.
Right, Charlie, thank you, and good morning again, everyone. Paving the way for better relations with China. Top Clinton administration officials have cleared the way for the sale of an $8 million American supercomputer to China. The powerful computer was sold to China to help predict weather disasters, but can be used for other purposes. Up to now, worries about China's human rights record and foreign weapons sales have held up technology sales from the U.S. Today, President Clinton meets with China's president in an Asian-Pacific trade conference in Seattle. A complaint about the liberal press, a complaint from President Clinton, not a complaint, more like an explosion. The president said, "I have fought more damn battles here for more things and not gotten one damn bit of credit from the knee-jerk liberal press. I am sick and tired of it, and you can put that down in the damn article." Rolling Stone magazine has done just that in its current issue. Its interview with the president was conducted November 2nd. Last night, the president said his answer was in response to a highly critical personal statement by the Rolling Stone interviewer. There's anger on the picket lines and confusion on the ticket lines today. It's day 2 of a strike by flight attendants at American Airlines. Hundreds of flights have been delayed or canceled, and more could be grounded. Pilots are voting on whether to walk out in support of the flight attendants, and the results of that vote are due out today. A museum celebrated its 200th birthday yesterday, the Louvre, and as it got a little older, it got a little better. ABC's Jim Bitterman tells us about a building that was famous even before it was a museum.
For 7 centuries, it's been at the heart of Paris, a symbol of French power and grandeur carved out of stone. And surrounded by courtiers, it was in no less than princely fashion that the French president inaugurated his latest improvements to the Palace of the Louvre. It was, after all, under Mitterrand's patronage that $1 1/3 billion tax dollars were committed to finally converting the entire building into a museum. And with the second of the 3 phases of the project now complete, the exposition space of the Louvre has very nearly doubled to more than 12 acres, permitting curators to pull from richly adorned closets and storerooms more than 5,000 works of art previously unseen by the general public. Even the experts were taken aback with the wealth of the collection finally assembled.
There are many things I had never seen before in a certain way, and also the way in which things are presented gives a feeling of the richness of the collections of which no one was really aware.
But even more than the additional space, the improvement most talked about is lighting. Between the expansive galleries designed by American architect I.M. Pei to maximize daylight and interior lighting newly conceived by the State Electric Company, many of the Louvre's works can now be seen in the kind of natural light the artists themselves might have intended. Yet despite more than 10 years of work and yesterday's inauguration of new gallery space and commercial arcades, the Greater Louvre project isn't finished just yet. Visitors will have at least 4 more years of navigation through construction areas before the project is finally complete. But as one curator here put it, such a museum as the Louvre, monsieur, will never be finished. Jim Bitterman, ABC News, Paris.
And Spencer, too, is a work in progress. Here's Spencer in Puerto Rico. Spencer.
Okay, Mort, back at Las Cabezas de San Juan. This is a view outside of the mangrove forest we talked about earlier. This is a view from inside the lighthouse here, El Faro, close-up view of the mangrove tree. And as you can see, both above water and below it, it is an amazing life support system for many, many species, a vital part of the ecosystem here. Let's go to the maps, take a look at today's weather for the 48 contiguous states. It's going to be a rather calm day for much of the nation, although there will be some light scattered showers reaching from New England down through the Ohio Valley to the lower Mississippi Valley. Winds will be rather brisk in the nation's midsection, gusting up to about 40 miles per hour or better. As we move into the weekend, pretty much the same system, although there'll be some light snow developing over the Great Lakes and New England, becoming stormy over along the west coast, and in the mid-Atlantic and southeastern states there'll be some showers. Cold weather will invade the nation over the weekend as well. The northeast and upper Midwest will see daytime highs reaching only into the 20s and 30s, and that cold air is going to make a southward push that'll chill your toes all the way down into Dixie. That's a look at the national weather picture. Here's a look at the weather where you are.
Good morning, I'm meteorologist Bill Evans. Well, outside we have cloudy skies. We have a little light drizzle. The temperature now is still at 51 degrees. We're looking for a high today that should be around 56, mild, but cloudy skies with rain and drizzle this afternoon tonight, but it'll be sunny and much cooler on Saturday and Sunday.
And I'll be back a little bit later with a final view of Las Cabezas de San Juan. It'll be a tough place to leave, Joan. Tough place to leave. We'll be back in just a moment as Good Morning America continues.
Wait a minute. You tell me they pick up half the tab on whoever I call most?
Sprint announces a radical new offer when you switch to the most.
Get out of here.
It's true. Sprint will split the bill on whoever you call most.
Right. Who's gonna believe a thing like that?
I have it. They split it. See? It pays to listen to your friends.
Call now and save 50% with Sprint's calling plan, The Most. Perfect, exquisite, amusing, romantic. Words can only begin to describe the experience.
Glorious, brilliant, masterpiece.
Critics and audiences are discovering The Remains of the Day is more than one of the best films of the year. You're extremely important to this house.
Am I?
Anthony Hopkins' performance is one of the greatest acting achievements ever captured on film.
I'd be lost without her.
The Remains of the Day, rated PG, at theaters now.
Crispy or crunchy? Crispy or crunchy?
What's going on?
I don't know which tastes better, the Scram Shacks or this Mini Graham.
Graham checks with crispy mini grams. Sounds delicious.
It's the only cereal with real mini grahams and Graham checks. So every bite has real graham cracker taste and stays crispy in milk.
Which tastes better, Graham Checks or Mini Grams?
Crispy or crunchy? Crispy
Graham
or
checks,
crunchy?
the only cereal with real mini grahams.
Drop everything. It's Color Tile's 40th anniversary price rollback. 40, 50, 60% price cuts. First time ever. Saxony carpet, $4.99. Price cuts on ceramic floor and wall tile. Price cuts on vinyl tile and Armstrong sheet vinyl. Huge price cuts. Act now.
Hi, I'm Regis Philbin. You know, I've been suffering with back pain for years. Then I discovered Aspirin. I just rub in Aspirin for hours of relief, right where I hurt. It relieves the pain fast, and it's odor-free. And Aspirin is aspirin-free.
November 19th, it is an island-wide holiday here in Puerto Rico. The kids in our audience are especially pleased that it is Discovery Day, the day Christopher Columbus arrived here in Puerto Rico, 1493, and it is being commemorated at 500th anniversary, and it is festive around this island.
But it's interesting what's happened to the reputation of Christopher Columbus.
Yeah.
When you and I were in school, of course, Columbus was very much a hero. And there's been revisionist history. Columbus not seen in the same way he was probably 20, 30 years ago. So we thought we'd touch base with some of the younger generation here in San Juan. Over with Joan is Antonio Vargas, and with me here is Viviana Acosta. Why don't you stand up for a moment? Your shoes are a little wet, Viviana, but you knew that. Tell me something. How is Columbus taught in school now?
Yeah, well, now we have a more objective vision of what Christopher Columbus is. You know, we have to be aware that the discovery of Puerto Rico has been 500 years not only of happiness, it's been 500 years of oppression, of sadness, and of suffering, you know, and we have to have that in mind and reflect over that. But the celebration is actually because what is a country without its history, and that reality is what has made us what we are today.
So in a sense, the 500th anniversary is not of the discovery of Puerto Rico, but it's of the Europeans arriving for the first time.
Yeah, basically, but it's also because before the Spanish got to Puerto Rico, there was also a culture established. So it wasn't really a discovery. But without them, without the mixture of all those cultures, we wouldn't be what we are today. So we celebrate.
That's what I was wondering, Antonio. Does the good, you know, the discovery of the New World and what happened after that outweigh the bad, you know, what happened to the native people here?
I don't think so. I think that Puerto Ricans have in mind what happened to the Indians once the Europeans arrived in the island, and they really, many of the Puerto Ricans feel that instead of celebrating the 500 years of the discovery of Puerto Rico, they should have commemorated the arrival of the Europeans because of all the suffering that it implies for the Taino Indians.
So how is Columbus himself seen?
Well, you have to see the good aspects. He came here for a purpose, discovering, and to expand his country's empire. And, well, we have to see that even though that was his purpose, the way he went, because I don't justify oppression in any way. There's no justification for it. But it happened, and, you know, there's no...
I guess, though, that you guys have some reservations about the festivities, that we should remember everything, not just have a party.
That's true, yes, we believe so.
But however Columbus is seen, it is still a holiday, which I suppose is popular with the students at the school.
I think
so.
I think
so. I think they, and you know what? They're getting extra credit for coming down here to appear on the program. Is that right? Extra credit today?
You get extra credit?
Any teachers here?
I'll write you a note and tell them to give you extra credit.
Extra credit? Yeah. All right, we're calling for it.
Oh, gosh, we're extra credit today.
Personal extra credit.
And Good Morning America will continue in just a moment. Stay with us.
Please pass the all fruit.
Pass the Polana all fruit.
Pass the Polana all fruit.
Would you please pass the jelly?
Polaner All Fruit is real fruit, sweetened only with fruit juice. You'll call it delicious, you'll call it remarkable, but please, don't dare call it jelly. Polaner All Fruit, the spreadable fruit.
Her name is Aurora.
Kiss of the Spider-Woman, winner of 7 1993 Tony Awards, including Best Musical, Best Actress, Chita Rivera, Best Featured Actor, Anthony Crivello. Kiss of the Spider-Woman at the Broadhurst Theater. Call Telecharge.
Imagine a wonder drug that could help reduce minor arthritis pain so the Panthers wouldn't lose their star shortstop. One that could relieve headaches so more guys could come out to play. A drug that studies show reduces the risk of second heart attacks. Imagine a drug that holds answers to all these ailments so families could gather for years to come. A wonder drug? Yes. It's Bayer Aspirin. The wonder drug that works wonders.
Get the new Mazda Protege with front-wheel drive, a bigger engine than Civic, Corolla Standard, and Sentra sedan, the best basic warranty in its class, and lots of room for fun. And if you're in the mood for value, get a great deal at your Mazda dealer now. We make the exceptional affordable. Mazda, it just feels right.
Hi, I'm Dana King.
And I'm Bill Ritter.
And we're in Puerto Rico. So join us as we learn about the history of rum and the origins of salsa music, and we go marlin fishing.
That's this Sunday. It's Good Morning America Sunday. Goes to Puerto Rico.
Highlights of Good Morning America in Puerto Rico are available on